Hello. Hello. It is a bit earlier than yesterday, because yesterday kind of went into today a little bit. And I'm starting Leviticus today. See? It says there Leviticus. And this bookmark was made by one of my friends in my parents' previous church, and it says, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. So that's nice. And I've got 3 chapters to read in Leviticus, but then they're not as long as they could have been, and definitely nowhere near as long as some of the chapters in Exodus or Genesis were. Oh my word, those were long. Alright, let's get started. The burnt offering. Now the Lord called Moses and spoke to him from the tabernacle of meeting, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When any one of you brings an offering to the Lord, you shall bring your offering of the livestock, of the herd and of the flock. If his offering is a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own free will at the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the Lord. Then he shall put his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He shall kill the bull before the Lord. Didn't say there is specifically a bull before. He shall kill the bull before the Lord, and the priests, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood all around the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And he shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. The sons of Aaron, the priest, shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood in order on the fire. Then the priests, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head and the fat, in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the altar, and he shall wash its entrails and its legs with water. And the priest shall burn all on the altar as a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. If his offering is of the flocks, one of the sheep or goats, it is as a burnt offering. He shall bring a male without blemish. He shall kill it on the north side of the altar before the Lord, and the priests shall sprinkle its blood all around the altar. And he shall cut it into its pieces, with its head and its fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the burnt altar. But he shall wash the entrails and the legs with water. Then the priest shall bring it all to burn on the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. And if the burnt sacrifice of his offering to the Lord is of birds, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or young pigeons. Ooh, pigeons. There's a lot of them around. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off its head, and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out of the side of the altar. And he shall remove its crop with its feathers, and cast it beside the altar on the east side into the place for ashes. And he shall split it at its wings, but shall not divide it completely. And the priest shall burn it on the altar, on the wood that is on the fire. It is a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. So that's 3 types of burnt offering. So a bull, a sheep or a goat, and a bird. The grain offering. When anyone offers a grain offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil on it, and put frankincense on it. He shall bring it to Aaron's sons, one of whom shall take it from his hand full of fine flour and oil with all the frankincense, and the priest shall burn it as a memorial on the altar, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings to the Lord made by fire. And if you bring as an offering a grain offering baked in an oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. But if your offering is a grain offering baked in a pan, it shall be of fine flour unleavened and mixed with oil. I've just said that. That's a different verse. You shall break it into pieces and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. That makes me think of like the olive oil and balsamic vinegar starter thing that lots of Italian places do, because they have a selection of breads on a board, some of them toasted, and you dip it in the oil with the balsamic vinegar at the bottom, and then you eat it. It's quite nice, actually. You shall bring the grain offering that is made of these things to the Lord, and when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. Then the priest shall take it from the grain offering memorial portion and burn it on the altar. It is an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. Sounds like God enjoys fire. Is that why I like candles so much? And what is left of the grain offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings to the Lord made by fire. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven. For you shall burn no leaven nor any honey in any offering to the Lord made by fire. As for the offering of the first fruits, you shall offer them to the Lord, and they shall not be burnt on the altar for a sweet aroma. And every offering of your grain offering shall be seasoned with salt. You shall not allow the salt of the covenant of your God to be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. If you offer a grain offering of your first fruits to the Lord, you shall offer the grain offering for your first fruits, green heads of grain roasted on the fire, grain beaten from the full heads, and you shall put oil on it, and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. Then the priest shall burn the memorial of portion. Part of it is beaten grain, and part of it is oil, with the frankincense as an offering made by fire to the Lord. So, plain grain. Cooked grain made into like unleavened cakes. So it could be like pita bread, naan bread, that kind of stuff. As long as it doesn't have any yeast or raising element in it. Because leaven is a raising element, as far as I've been told over the years. Right. Chapter 3. The peace offering. When his offering is a sacrifice of a peace offering, if he offers it of the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And he shall lay its hand on the head of the offering, and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And Aaron's sons shall sprinkle all the blood all around the altar. Then he shall offer from the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire to the Lord, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them, by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys shall be removed. And Aaron's sons shall burn it on the altar, the burnt offering which is on the wood that is on the fire, as an offering made by fire, sweet aroma to the Lord. His offerings as a sacrifice of a peace offering to the Lord is of the flock. Whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offers a lamb as his offering, then he shall offer it before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the offering and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting, and Aaron's son shall sprinkle its blood all around the altar. Then he shall offer from the sacrifice of the peace offering as an offering made by fire to the Lord, its fat and the whole fat tail, which he shall remove close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And the priest shall burn them on the altar as food, an offering made by fire to the Lord. And if his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord. So kill it, sprinkle the blood. I think it's remove the fat and the kidneys. Sweet aroma. This shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations. In all your dwellings you shall eat neither fat nor blood. Right. Yes, I'm quite tired. Wow, those chapters were really short. Yeah, it looks like Leviticus is going to go through all of the types of offerings. Offerings, fat and blood may not be eaten. Portion for the priests. Consecrated. Priestly ministry begins. Several chapters away. Right. And I'll leave you there for the end of the first reading. Oh, I forgot to say what day it was. It is day 34 of reading the Bible in a year. Yeah. 34 days. 34 reading days of reading the Bible. Wow. Alright, I'll see you in the next reading.